is Chanel Lisa Lightfoot Brown, and this is actually a bit of a tragic story. Um, it haunts me until this day. I can remember my uncle. He's the oldest out of 18 children, and my cousins and I, we always thought he was just really crazy. He wore this big crazy afro, and he was missing all of his molar teeth. All he had was four teeth at the bottom, four teeth at the top. And then, he usually drank booze, so everything he said, most adults didn't really, believe him. But for some reason, every time he talked about this one ghost in particular, it just seemed so real, so real. Well, one day, my cousins and I, we were sitting down playing a game of Uno, and my Uncle James comes into the room and he asked what we were doing. We said we were playing a game of Uno. And we all kind of like rolled our eyes behind our head, like, oh no, here comes crazy Uncle James again. What is he going to talk about? Well, he sits down right next to us, and he had these size 12 rugged, dirty Timberland boots that he wore all the time. They had holes in the soles and everything. And he may have had them for 20 plus years. He was a really poor guy. Well, anyway, he said, anybody ever tell you the story of the demon that haunted our family, the Lightfoot family? And we were like, no, what is it? And I heard my mom in the background say, James, don't you tell those kids that story. Don't you tell those kids that story. And he would say, tell us anyway, tell us anyway. We wanted to be entertained. So he's like, there was this little small black demon. He was like a black smoke, and his eyes were white and shaped like almonds. And we would see him in the woods. Sometimes we would see him floating up in the clouds. And when he said the clouds, that's when I really thought he was crazy. Like, demon floating in the clouds? Come on now. So anyway, he said one day when he and his siblings went out in the woods to go smoke a joint. Well, back in those days, it's called a joint. I'm not sure what they call it now, but it was illegal drugs. They call it their laughing drugs. They were in the forest, the woods, smoking this marijuana and just huffing and puffing. And all not all 18 of them, because 10 of them were teenagers. The other 8 were still kids. They're sitting on logs, just cracking jokes, about some classmates and stuff that was funny. And suddenly, they heard something make a creak in the woods. They was like, "Did you hear that?" So they all stopped. And Uncle James got up and he said, "I'm going to go ahead and check it out, see what's going on." So he got up. My Uncle Shorty went with him. So they could look in the woods and they didn't see anything, and they sat back down. And I was like, I don't know what it was, but I know I heard something. So suddenly they heard a crack even louder. And all of a sudden they all turned around. They saw this little black demon. And they all screamed, and the demon just flew away. They swear until like this day that the demon was real. Well, anyway, fast forwarding from that day, I would say about, he said 2 years later, my grandmother, she was laying in her bed, and she said she felt something cold in her back. And immediately she turned around to see what it was. And she didn't see anything, but she felt something. You just feel something that's there, but you just can't see it. Maybe she just didn't turn around fast enough. Well, anyway, um, she got up, her window was just mysteriously open, so she closed the window and she went back to sleep. Well, this whole situation with this demon began to come to an end. My aunt, who was the fourth daughter, or the fourth child out of all 18 children, was coming home one day from work. She was a nurse. And she was driving at night, and she was about maybe a mile and a half from the house. Um, as she was driving, she saw that same demon in her rearview mirror, and she screamed. She frantically opened up her door, and she was about to jump out. And immediately, she turned around because she forgot her purse. She grabbed her purse, and then she proceeded to leave or exit out of the car. And as she was leaving out of the car, the door slammed up against this big tree, and a tree caused the door to slam up against my aunt, killing her instantly. She was unrecognizable. The only way that my family could identify her is through her teeth. And she still had the beautiful, elegant hands. And for some reason, that was like the last time they've ever seen that demon after she died. They just kind of figured that the demon was her.
Oh my god. Oh my god.